Hello, children. Today we are going to do Deep Water by William Orville Douglas. This is chapter 3 from your book, Flamingo. Let's talk about the author. William Orville Douglas was born on 16th October 1898 in Minnesota, United States, and died on January 19th, 1980 in Maryland, United States. This part of the story is an autobiography of the author. Notice the first person I. After graduating with a Bachelor's of Arts in English and Economics, he spent 2 years teaching high school in Yakima. However, he got tired of this and decided to pursue a legal career. He met Franklin D. Roosevelt at Yale and became an advisor and friend to the president. Douglas was a leading advocate of individual rights, was an American jurist and politician who served as an associate justice of the Supreme Court of United States. His term, lasting 36 years and 211 days from 1939 to 1975, is the longest in the history of Supreme Court. He retired in 1975. The following excerpt is taken from Of Men and Mountains by William O. Douglas. He reveals how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool. In this essay, he talks about his fear of water and thereafter how he finally overcame it. The theme, message, or the central idea of the story. Deep Water is about the writer's journey of overcoming the fear of water, which is deeply rooted in him since childhood. The story tells the readers that it is not death, but the fear of death that scares one and all. We must fight the fear, otherwise, it will overpower us. Moreover, past memories can leave an indelible impact on human mind. He gives lesson that if we take a vow to do anything, then we can do it. In this story, Douglas talks about how he finally overcomes the fear of water with his strong willpower, courage, hard work, and firm determination. Once he took courage, the fear vanished. That shows most of us, our fears are baseless. Fear creates dangers where there is none. The writer's experiences further confirm the proverbial truth: where there is a will, there is a way. Douglas developed an aversion of water and he suffered from hydrophobia. This chapter focuses on the fact that childhood fear must never be treated lightly. If they are not tackled, then they make deep inroads into one's psychology. The message conveyed by the story is that it is not death, but the fear of death that creates terror in our mind. So, that fear needs to be shaken off. Also, any fear can be conquered if we try hard enough. So, with willpower, determination, and courage, one can overcome all the fears in his life. So, how did Douglas develop this fear? Since childhood, he had an aversion from water. Somehow he hated water. From the beginning, however, Douglas hated and always disliked water and recounts a childhood memory. When he was 3 or 4 years old, he went to a beach in California with his father. They stood together enjoying. Suddenly, a huge wave leapt towards them. He was knocked down and buried in the water. He was scared as he could not breathe. His father laughed and tried to make him comfortable. Douglas was scared when he realized that the waves were so powerful. Being a child of 3 to 4 years old, how could he be so comfortable? So this is how he developed aversion from water. But when he grew up, he decided to learn swimming in YMCA pool. When Douglas was 10 or 11 years old, however, he decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima which was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end and 9 feet deep at the other. The drop was gradual. So Douglas got a pair of water wings and went to the pool. Though he hated to show his skinny legs, but somehow he subdued his pride and did it. In a little while, he gathered confidence watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them. That is, copying how the other children did. He did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to come over his fright before he could be comfortable. Suddenly, another incident happened. A misadventure occurred in his life, and this misadventure made him hydrophobic. It was not a very long practice when suddenly a misadventure happened. One day, when there was no one else near the pool, Douglas was waiting for other boys to come. Suddenly, a boy around 18 years of age arrived. He was quite muscular and hairy, a well built body with rippling muscles. He seemed to be a bully. He asked William if he wanted to be thrown into the pool. And with that, he picked him up and tossed him into the deep end, just playing a prank on Douglas. How could a boy know that anybody sitting beside the pool in a swimming costume would not know swimming? But Douglas did not know swimming and he was drowning. Though he was scared, Douglas was frightened, but not frightened out of his wits. So he made a strategy to save himself. Douglas was frightened when he landed in the pool in a sitting position, but he used his intelligence and on his way down the pool made a strategy to save himself. When he thought when he will reach the bottom, his feet will hit the tiles, he thought that he would make a big jump and come to the surface like a cork, lie on his back, and swim to the edge of the pool. Instead, he swallowed water and went at once to the bottom. He was frightened as he came up very slowly. He tried twice to execute his plan, but it did not work. And Douglas was drawn in the swimming pool, going down and down and down. And then, when he was drowning, a series of emotions and fear struck him. It seemed a long way down. Those 9 feet were more like 90. His lungs were ready to burst. He opened his eyes and saw nothing but water, water that had a dirty yellow tinge. He grew panicky. He was suffocating. He tried to yell, scream, shout for his help, but no sound came out. His legs were hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. A great force was pulling him under. He lost all his breath. His lungs ached, his head throbbed, and he was getting dizzy. Only his heart and pounding in his head said that he was still alive. He was shrieking underwater, paralyzed, stiff, rigid with fear. Even the scream in his throat were frozen. When nothing could work, he stopped trying. So he tried his level best to save himself, for cry for help, but nothing worked. And then he ceased all efforts. Finally, he accepted death and felt relaxed. A blackness swept over his brain, which made him thoughtless. means he was about to faint. He was going in a unconscious state of mind. Now, nothing to be afraid of. He felt that he was being carried gently in his mother's tender arms. He became unconscious and accepted the end of his life. But actually, he did not die because there were many people beside the swimming pool and they saved him. But this misadventure left a very deep effect on his mind and soul. When he went home that day, he was weak and trembling. He shook and cried when he lay on bed. He couldn't eat that night. For days, a haunting fear was in his heart. The slightest exertion would make him wobbly in the knees and sick to his stomach. When William Duck gained consciousness, he found himself lying on his stomach beside the pool and was vomiting. And the chap who had thrown him was telling that he was only joking and fooling. But Douglas became very upset. He never went back to the pool again. He feared water and avoided it wherever he could. The haunting fear of water followed him even when he grew up with the passage of time. It ruined all his fishing trips, deprived him of the joy of canoeing, boating, and swimming. And then Douglas decided that he need to overcome his fear because he could not live with that fear any longer. And finally, one October, he hired an instructor to teach him swimming. The instructor put a belt round William's waist. The belt was attached to a thick rope. The rope went through an overhead cable and was held by the instructor. William swam across the length of the pool for several weeks. Whenever the instructor loosened the rope, he went down into the water and the fear would return and grab him. It was after 3 months of practice that William got comfortable. The instructor taught him to put his face under the water and inhale and exhale. He started teaching him in bits and pieces. He would make him practice for an hour each day, 5 days a week. And gradually, joining piece by piece, instructor made Douglas a swimmer. Gradually, he got rid of the panic that would grab him when he put his head underwater. The instructor also taught him to kick the water surface with his legs. He did this for many weeks. Initially, his legs did not move, but gradually they relaxed. Finally, the instructor made a swimmer out of Douglas in phases. When he had perfected each piece, Douglas came out to be a swimmer. In the month of April, the instructor asked Douglas to dive into the pool and swim. The training was finally over. But Douglas was not over. He was not sure whether he would still be able to swim in the pool. He had some residual doubts. Douglas still had some doubt about his fear. So he went to check. He hurried towards the western direction. He went up to the Titan and Conrad Meadows, walked up the Conrad Creek trail to Meade Glacier. He camped at the meadow by the warm lake. Next, he dived into the lake. Initially, he would get scared in the middle of the water, but he would challenge his fear, telling, "Hey, Mr. Terror, do you want to scare me?" And Douglas would frown and challenge his terror. The moment it would fly away, and he swam across to the other end and returned just like the famous American swimmer Doc Corpon used to do. He shouted with joy as he had overcome his fear. His voice echoed in the Gilbert Peak. Finally, he had overcome the fear. Douglas proved to be a swimmer. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. This is the moral of the story, that it is our fear which holds us back. If we challenge our fear, if we have determination to overcome our fear, nothing can hold us behind. Douglas realized that death was peaceful and only the fear of death was fearful. He had experienced both the sensation of dying and the terror that fear of it can give. He remembers the words of the President Roosevelt: all we have to fear is fear itself. And then his desire to live grew immensely. He felt released from fear and could walk up the trails and climb up the mountains fearlessly. So, this is Deep Water. Thank you.